Well, getting aid into Gaza and feeding hungry Palestinians is one of the chief aims of the World Food Program. Cindy McCain is their executive director. She was just in Gaza last week and surveyed much of the hunger and devastation directly. I had an opportunity to speak with Ms. McCain earlier in the day about the situation on the ground. Ms. McCain, I understand that you were just in Gaza a few days ago and you were able to visit various locations. So tell me about where you've been and what you saw while you were there.
Well, I entered through the gate of Kisifim, came down through Deir al-Balah, then from there went on to where did I go? I came out through Kerem Shalom. What I saw was utter devastation. It was flattened, obviously, millions of tents set up and people standing in line for both food and water and other essentials as well. It was interesting, but it was also very heart-wrenching because a lot of the people that, that I personally saw on the roads were clearly malnourished and in a great deal of pain and hunger.
You've mentioned in other conversations meeting a family of 11, that they brought their photographs to you. Talk to me about what they told you and what they've been through.
Well, it was devastating. They wanted me to see what they looked like, but their only ask of me was more food. That was what they wanted. We didn't talk politics or anything like that. And I will say they haven't had an eight-month-old child with them, and the baby had been hit in the head with shrapnel. So the baby was wrapped, was bandaged pretty heavily, etc. They're very representative of so many of the families that are on the ground right there as well. And what I keep asking for is, of course, a ceasefire, and also allowing WFP to get in to the region fully at scale. Unencumbered, meaning that we're unfettered, we can go in, as we see fit, and also safely. As you know, humanitarian aid workers have been targeted recently, and it's very important that we not only demand that not happen again, but we can continue to operate without the risk to the lives of our people that are actually delivering.
Well, to that point, Ms. McCain, I understand that you were, in fact, able to meet with very senior members of the Israeli government and military, as well as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. You all put together a statement. You put it out there. It was short. But talk to me about the points on which you've reached some sort of agreement and the points where you still differ.
Well, we actually had a very good discussion. We voiced our concerns. They voiced theirs. At the time they were committed to bringing more food in, helping us to be able to get our trucks in and other agency trucks, etc. So the conversation was a good one. It was not hostile in any way. It was simply about we need to feed and let's see how we can do this together. And that was certainly the case with all three of the meetings I had. One with COGAT, one with the IDF, and of course one with the Prime Minister. The message was the same. We need to get in at scale, we need to be unfettered, and we need to be able to do it safely. And so that's the message I left with them.
And I wonder if, Ms. McCain, you could offer us some clarity about if you are able to operate at this time, because for several weeks, the only aid organization that was operating was the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. So is your aid getting in, and how is that technically working right now?
Well, yes, our aid is getting in. We do not work with GHF, but we do get in ourselves. What has happened, though, is that the bureaucracy in getting trucks across the border, getting them cleared, getting them scanned, all the things that they want us to do before we can actually hit the road, has been very complicated. And you can imagine if you were someone sitting near the border and you see the trucks waiting there, but they're not moving because we haven't been allowed to roll yet. Panic starts. People need the food, so they rush the trucks. If we can get in at scale, what this will do is make sure that people can depend on the fact that food will be coming in, and the panic won't be there. The panic and the disruption that occurs. So there's a lot of different things that we need to make happen there so that we can do it. But we are getting in. Again, as I said, but as to this new plan within Gaza City, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. All I know is that we will continue to feed as best we can and do it hopefully in a safe manner.
At the height of it, you all were operating with, I believe, anywhere from 200 to 400 distribution points. There were 600 aid trucks going in
Right.
every single day. Do you have a numerical data about where things are at in terms of the numbers right now?
Yeah, right now we are getting in, WFP, I'm not going to, the other agencies, I'm not going to include in this, but WFP are getting in a little over 100 trucks a day. And that's obviously, it's not nearly enough. And so that's why I'm asking for, and it's inconsistent, I will add also, because as you know, the routings and then they don't, and yes and no. And anyway, so I'm looking forward to the time when we can operate at scale, as I said, and make sure that we can get to the most vulnerable people. And the people you see climbing on the trucks are not the healthier ones. What you're not seeing are the women and children who cannot get to the trucks and can't get food. And and of course, we did have over 200 feeding sites during the ceasefire. And so we can do it. We have the complete ability to be able to do this, but we need to get in. 2 or 3 feeding stations do not work. It doesn't work. And so that's why we need to get in and be able to do this and make sure that we can help the most people that we can.
Did you happen to speak to Prime Minister Netanyahu at all about this incredible emphasis on GHF? Because I spoke with one of the spokespeople from Gaza Humanitarian Foundation earlier this month, and they have 4 distribution points, and people have come to them, and as you've been describing, in very, very dangerous conditions and in militarized zones. So you all are the biggest food agency in the world, and you know how to do this work. So I wonder if there's any sort of frustration about people just being hungry. They're just hungry, and you know how to feed them. So was there any relenting on that part from the Israeli leadership that, yes, we need to loosen things up?
Well, I did make that point with them. I do not know really what they truly thought. GHF will be there. But again, we're a humanitarian aid agency. We do not offer food or deliver food at gunpoint anywhere in the world. There's no guns involved in what we do. And so it's really important that the difference there is that we go to them because people are sick and they're hungry. We set up stations using the community leaders to help enforce the rules around the feeding centers. And that it makes it, as I said, there's not a panicked situation because the food is arriving, it's there, it's consistent, and there's no danger involved in what's going on with regard to the feeding and to the area around it.
And Ms. McCain, I'll ask you this question as both an incredibly high-profile international figure, but also as a mom whose primary instinct would be, I would imagine, to protect your child. And you mentioned that 8-month-old baby that you met who'd been hit by shrapnel, who has probably not been fed properly, does not have the nutrition required to grow up to be a healthy human being. And now you're leading the charge in feeding people. I mean, what does all of this do to your sense of mission?
Well, it makes me even more direct and deliberate in how I operate because, as you said, I am a mother. I'm a mother of 4, a grandmother of 5. I mean, I cannot imagine not having enough food to feed my children or having to choose whether I eat a little bit that day or do I give it all to the kids, kind of thing. In the case of the family that I saw, there was one member of the family that had given birth 2 days before. And I looked at this child, this newborn baby, and the first thing that came into my head is, can they feed him? Can he stay alive in all this? So the humanitarian crisis aspect of all of this weighs far beyond just whether there's food or water or anything else. It's human. It's very human. And I think to any mother who's watching this, I know you can relate because we've all had to try to make decisions in our lives. So I'm just hoping that this comes to an end soon, that we can be able to get in and feed, make sure that we are able to do it at scale, and also make sure that we can do it consistently and making sure that we can get to the most vulnerable people we can get to.
Cindy McCain, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.